Qtum. So we have a video that we're gonna play, and then I will bring on Jordan Earls for some Q&A at the end.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jordan Earls, and I'm the co-founder and head of the US division of Qtum. And today, I'm going to basically give a proof of work presentation, kind of covering, what we've been doing and where we're going, and go into the financials a little bit. Special thank you to Masari for the invitation to present this today. So let's jump straight into it. So, for those that aren't aware, Qtum is an independent UTXO-based blockchain. So that means it's basically not tied to any other blockchain specifically, although it borrows a lot of technology from Bitcoin and Ethereum. It implements smart contracts so that you can actually run like Solidity, Ethereum smart contracts on Qtum. And it uses basically what's called the UTXO format, which is kind of like how Bitcoin handles transactions and everything. And also Qtum is a proof of stake blockchain and has been since launch. Qtum was registered and founded in Singapore in 2016. And afterwards, we launched the Mainnet in late 2017. Worldwide, we have about 50 people. And that's, spread kind of everywhere. We have people in Europe and the US and China. And like a very distributed team. So going into basically the count of nodes, last year we did a lot of promotions and such to basically get more nodes on the network. Right now we're sitting at around 2,000. And for the most part, our distribution is like a ton of nodes in South Korea. And then to a lesser amount, the other three countries that have like the most nodes basically are United States, China, and Germany. And then of course, beyond, fourth place, there's a lot more in Europe and Asia. So we also have like a use Qtum program for basically getting Qtum into these different services. So as you can see on the slide, there's a ton of different wallets that support Qtum already. And a few of those also support QRC20 tokens. And then we have payments, which of course are like, being able to buy services and buy goods and such with Qtum. And then there's node services that allow for basically being able to easily set up a node on Qtum. And we've cooperated with a few different universities to do some research and everything into cryptography and blockchain technology, basically searching for, future features and such to implement into Qtum. And then we also have staking services. So Qtum is a proof of stake blockchain. So instead of mining, they're staking, of course. And there's a number of different exchanges and such that support staking. There's a few different services that make it easy to set up a like a staking node, basically. And then for cloud services, there's like images that you can basically use to deploy a node that can be used for more than just kind of like running a node on the network. You can also do development type stuff on it and other things. And then we've also had some partners to basically help and try and spread the word of what it takes to build a smart contract on Qtum and everything, and how to utilize that infrastructure that we built. So initially, when we launched Qtum, it had 100 million coins, and whenever it will, like basically the network will stop creating new coins, it'll be 2045, and that final supply will basically be 107.8 million. And right now we're at about 102.5 million. And we also had like, a set of the coins basically reserved for the organization to develop and market Qtum. And like basically the way we did that is that we didn't just all get it at once. We had 4 separate payments that are, well, not payments, but like unlocking events where those coins became usable. And the final 4th locking event happened this past March. So the inflation rate for Qtum is fairly low at just 1%, or just under 1%. But anyway, going into the expenditures and everything, you can see there's kind of like, it looks like a dip in the summer, but that this chart is kind of like confusing because most of our expenses are actually kind of tied to fiat, as far as like, we set employee salaries and such based on like the dollar or the RMB or whatever local currency. So the actual expenditure, like the expenditures go up and down depending on the Bitcoin price whenever you're looking at it in Bitcoin. In reality, it's actually quite constant as far as like, month to month expenses, with a few different non-recurring one-time expenses. So this is kind of like the summary of 2019 as far as like the month breakdown of how much Bitcoin we've spent and everything, and also where that money actually went. We've always been a very tech-heavy company as far as like that's the most people we have, and what we put most of our resources into. And then to a lesser extent, we have PR, marketing, and operations, like managers to run offices and such. And then there's a few one-time expenses with compliance, making sure that we are abiding by all the regulations as best as possible, and then business development and technical cooperation, which both are basically like establishing deals with these other companies and everything to get Qtum integrated and to promote Qtum in that way. So we actually release a transparency report every quarter, and of course Q2 isn't done yet, although it is kind of in progress. But the Q1 expenditures are shown on the slides, and you can see like basically month to month the primary expenditure is technology development, with PR and marketing kind of fluctuating but staying fairly constant as well. And then the other big things is just one-time cost of like compliance and everything, and making these big integration deals. Okay, so going beyond finances and what we've done last year and everything, I want to touch on basically like give a roadmap update for what we plan to do this year. The primary theme is three separate things. There's Qtum offline staking, which basically allows you to keep your coins offline while staking them and getting the staking reward from that. There's Phantom, which is privacy assets within smart contracts, and then Neutron, which is a completely new smart contract platform that utilizes Rust-based smart contracts. So going into offline staking, to fully understand why this is like a feature, you have to kind of understand that Qtum's proof of stake model is a little bit different than most blockchains that are labeled as proof of stake. So in Qtum's proof of stake model, there is no like voting for who will be the next block creator, or any kind of like limit on who can stake, or basically it's like a free for all of. Basically, it's very similar to Bitcoin as far as being like a randomized lottery. Instead of putting forward hashing power like you would on Bitcoin, though, you put in your coins, and your coins have staking power, basically. So this has worked great as far as like, allowing anyone to stake and help to secure the network. It's a very free and open system that I feel is, kind of like the hallmark of decentralized. However, it's had the problem of basically, well, kind of two separate problems. The first one is you always have to keep your coins online in order to actually be staking. And the second is that you have to use the Qtum Core wallet, which is like the full node wallet, in order to stake, because it needs to do like full network validation. So offline staking is designed to remedy both of these situations. So basically the way it works is that anyone can set up a delegate, or a, not delegate, but a super staker. And there is no like permission for doing this. There's no voting, like anyone can just set one up for any reason. But you can set up a super staker basically, and then people can delegate their coins to that super staker. And there's like a small minimum deposit and such, like a scaled, like I think you have to hold like 1,000 Qtum on the super staker in order to stake up to 100,000 or something like that. But basically, it allows you to be able to very easily stake your coins from any kind of device or wallet. So you can keep your coins on even like a paper wallet in theory, as long as you basically you have to initially sign a message saying, hey, I want my coins to be delegated to this this super staker, and then you can just keep it on paper offline, completely off the network, and you'll still get staking rewards and everything for that. And basically the super staker has an incentive to run this because the super staker can, instate a fee like 10% or something of the block rewards that they get. So 90% goes to the people that are delegating, and 10% goes to the super staker that is actually running the core wallet, helping to secure the network, creating blocks. So going into Phantom, so Phantom basically is a new framework for building private and anonymous assets within smart contracts. So that's like, an anonymous ERC20 token or NFT. It's based on ZK snarks and shrub Merkle trees. The math is honestly extremely complex. It's definitely even beyond my level. But the important thing is that basically you can hide almost all of the information about what is actually happening with the token or the asset. Things like the addresses being transacted against, the amount, and even like the privacy asset itself, like that some token is moving instead of another. So it's a very strong privacy system that I think is going to be very exciting to see, people building new use cases for, and everything, and getting this supported into mobile wallets and such, so that you can actually just use your phone to move private QRC20 tokens. And one of the biggest advantages of Phantom is that it's designed so that it is relatively cheap to do these transactions on the blockchain. It's definitely cheaper than most other private frameworks that accomplish similar things. And finally, there's Neutron, a completely new smart contract platform. So Quantum has always been, we've always had the Ethereum virtual machine and various Ethereum technology that has worked well for smart contracts on the platform. However, it's definitely like, we've had a number of things that just don't really, that are difficult to expose to the Ethereum infrastructure. Things like being able to, like, for a smart contract to be able to communicate and interact with the UTXO model that Quantum uses. This isn't like a failing of Ethereum and their infrastructure. It's rather just that, it's not designed for that. It's designed for Ethereum. Neutron is basically being designed so that it's very extensible, and in theory can actually work on many different blockchains. Of course, though, we're focusing on Quantum first and foremost. But so the biggest features that are coming with Neutron is, first of all, we're implementing Neutron DB, which is a new smart contract state storage system. And it implements a rent system. So basically what that means is that if you store some data into the Quantum blockchain, it doesn't stay there forever unless you keep using it and keep paying rent payments. The rent system is kind of like considered like a black box. Smart contracts aren't really aware of it, so it doesn't complicate smart contract design, at least not at an actual code level. And basically what this does is allows for nodes to be more lightweight and basically have a consistent view of how much storage they need over the next 10 years or 20 years. Like if we set a target of like, we want the blockchain to never be, like, for a node to never need more than 20 gigabytes of state data, then that can easily be restricted basically, and depending on the exact rent period and everything. The other big feature we're coming out with Neutron is Rust smart contracts. So smart contracts are traditionally written in Solidity, and Rust is a replacement for that. Basically, Rust is a fairly new programming language. I think it came out, like, it first started like 8 years ago or so. But Rust is very interesting for smart contract design because it's designed to be lightweight and efficient, which basically means less gas cost, smaller smart contracts. And it's also designed first and foremost to prevent programmer mistakes and to prevent security problems, like basically to catch security problems as compiler errors rather than catching them after you've already deployed a new smart contract. That, Neutron is going to be the ultimate platform for writing smart contracts, basically if you're not Ethereum, because Neutron is designed more as a blockchain agnostic platform, which is of course very well tuned for Quantum specifically, but is extensible for other blockchains to eventually implement, and even things that aren't blockchains like decentralized technologies and such. Yeah, I'd like to give another thank you to Masari, and yeah, I'm available for questions, so ask away. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jordan,
Hey.
good to see you live. Thanks for the video. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no, this is a great event. I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely a lot of people behind the scenes that worked really hard on this. So that means a lot. So watching the video, I picked up immediately on the offline staking change that's coming up, and I found that really interesting. I'm actually kind of curious. What are there any penalties for the super stakers? Like, is there something if they're caught offline or doing anything that would be considered unwanted by the network? Would they lose a percentage of their stake?
Um, there is like basically there's something called the nothing at stake problem, which is kind of famous in the technical crypto circle. Um, so that's why we have like the like a minimum deposit basically. But other than that minimum deposit, basically ensuring that you're actually invested into the network and everything, there's not like a strict like on-chain like slashing protocol or anything like that. We expect for everything to be for some auditing networks and such to come up that like, hey, this staking pool missed like the last 5 blocks that they could have had. Having that kind of like accountability system offline and like not offline but off chain, and basically for users to be able to easily watch that kind of thing. One important thing that I kind of didn't talk about was also that like you can change who you're delegating to at any time.
Mhm.
There's no like minimum lock-in period or anything like that. So we expect for the community to be kind of like self-policing on that aspect.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. I was kind of curious why in that direction, because I know a lot of these more recent protocols have gone down the route of instituting some sort of slashing penalty. So I
Yeah.
see that. I mean it's definitely an inhibitor to people wanting to actually act as super stakers. And do super stakers earn like a little bit more than they have like sort of a fee associated with it?
Yeah, like in the protocol itself, there's like they can set their own fee and everything as far as like what they want, and also there's the potential for actually making like basically 100% fee, but then like basically the staker owns all the coins that come out of it, but then being able to set up like for users to be able to withdraw that on their own terms and everything is to reduce the number of transactions needed and network fees and everything.
Excellent. All right. Moving on a little bit more on a general question. Where are you starting to see like most of the applications? Is there a certain vertical that certain people like to use quantum for, or is it kind of more horizontal, kind of broad spectrum?
Um, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. Like so far for quantum, it's definitely been like one of our strengths has been that we're very easy to set up a node for, set up a wallet for, because we're kind of like building off that like Bitcoin infrastructure that's relatively easy to use compared to the more complex Ethereum. But for applications themselves, of course, back in like 2017, early 2018, there's like a ton of ICOs and dApps and all that kind of stuff, but that's died down just with the general like community. Um, but we're really driving for a Neutron to basically enable things that basically like aren't possible right now. That's one of our main driving goals, and part of that is like focusing on having these private assets, having like a infrastructure for like DeFi and second layer scaling and everything. So I think that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and actually, kind of building off of that question pop up really quick. If you can just give me like a quick 1 minute answer, a little bit more on the new VM that you're gonna introduce, which has definitely been a long awaited upgrade.
Yeah.
And who you're particularly targeting with this introduction?
So I mean, like, of course, it's kind of being built as like general purpose, but the biggest thing that we're like immediately like focusing on, like building features specifically toward, is toward like this decentralized finance applications that are popping up, and basically allowing those to be integrated into, you know, second layer scaling type solutions, that are easier and more practical to use than the solutions that are existing today, like being able to actually do things quickly with minimal fees and everything.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, thanks for the update. That's quick. That was a quick 1 minute answer. Definitely got what I think we needed out of it. Really appreciate the time. Where can people keep up with the developments in quantum and keep in touch with you?
Yeah, so the best possible location probably is qtum.org, like qtum.org. And up there, there's like links to our community. Our Telegram is like super active. And we also have, you know, all the marketing materials and some previous AMA videos and everything. So yeah, that's definitely the best place.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us, Jordan. Really
Yeah, thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thanks for the video.
Yeah, great to be a part of this. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Talk to you soon.